So hello and welcome back to another video, guys. Now that's right, today it is time for another Marvel review, and the next one up in chronological order of release is simply titled Thor. So yeah, Thor is of course the story of the son of Odin, the Prince of Asgard, who is banished to Earth to learn some life lessons, and along that way he falls in love. He has to deal with some family drama, and yeah, that's more or less the story of Thor. Now, this film's directed by Kenneth Branagh, who most people actually probably know as an actor, but yes, he does do some directing. Other films people might know him from: Murder on the Orient Express and the Disney live-action Cinderella. Of course, it is starring Chris Hemsworth as Thor, Tom Hiddleston as Loki, Anthony Hopkins as Odin, and Natalie Portman as Jane Foster. So it's got a really great cast, and there's a load of other actors who pop up in this one along the way. There are some actors who don't actually have huge parts in these movies, surprisingly, like Idris Elba as Heimdall. It's really surprising. But yeah, Thor. What do I think of the movie Thor? Guys, I'm not going to lie, this is actually one of my more controversial opinions, because I see people tend to like this movie. I don't think people like it a great deal. I don't think people love this movie by any means. But for me, I think I slightly dislike this movie. Hear me out. I think the casting for a start is perfect. Like, Chris Hemsworth is so good as Thor. And Tom Hiddleston, I think, actually steals so many scenes in this movie. And he goes on to steal even more in future movies. Like, I say, when we get to the Avengers, you know, the man was born to play Loki. It's incredible. And all the other casting decisions, you know, I'm not a huge Natalie Portman fan, but she's pretty good in this movie. Anthony Hopkins, I mean, when is that? Well, I was going to say, when is that guy not good? But Transformers: The Last Night exists. But I find this movie a bit disjointed and a bit of a lack of vision. It feels very forced at times, this movie, I think. Like, I think at this point, Marvel and Disney knew that they were going to be doing a Avengers movie, so it was very just, oh, we got to make a Thor movie to introduce him. The story feels kind of generic, very predictable, and a bit lackluster. I think in terms of how epic and grand this film should have felt, it didn't have that. I think as well that a lot of the humour doesn't really work in this movie too well, other than a couple bits. You know, I love the bit where he walks into the shop and he requests, "I need a horse." Good. There are some good moments in here, but I think a lot of it feels very empty almost. As well as that, I think that the film just doesn't have as grand of an appeal, and it doesn't have as much character. The film itself doesn't have as much character as like the Iron Man films, even Iron Man 2. I do prefer Iron Man 2, surprisingly. I think the film also just doesn't really have a great score. I don't think there's much interesting stuff going on screen. It all looks kind of bland and nah. But as I say, there are some good moments to it. As I say, I love the casting, and the actors all do a good enough job. Don't know what's up with the eyebrows on Chris Hemsworth, though. I want to point that out before I forget. The designs of everything look awesome. Asgard looks brilliant. The ship designs and stuff in the movie look incredible. The big monster that shoots a big beam out of his face looks great. The ice monsters, I can't remember what they're called. I know the king's called LaFool, something like that. I don't know, I feel like I'm just saying the guy from Beauty and the Beast. King Laufey or something like that. He looks cool. The rest of the White Walkers from Game of Thrones, I guess, they look kind of cool. But yeah, again, for me, I think this film just feels like Marvel. I think I said Disney earlier. I don't think Disney were too involved at this point. I think it was just Marvel going, we're going to do an Avengers film. We've done our Iron Man and our Incredible Hulk. We've done Iron Man 2 that was a build-up. Now we're going to quickly do a Thor and Captain America movie. So I feel like this one was kind of just forced. It was chucked out there. I was like, all right, let's get it out there. Let's do it. And that's kind of how Thor goes over for me. I've watched it many times now over the years. There are some really good elements to this movie. There really are. I don't want to sound like I'm being overly negative on this movie, because I really do like a lot of things about this film. But it doesn't really compare to some of the stuff that is to come in Marvel. And even like the Iron Man, for example, that's already come, it's nowhere near that level. Yeah, fair enough. It's probably not far below for me, The Incredible Hulk or Iron Man 2, but it's the weakest MCU film so far, and it will remain the weakest one until Thor: The Dark World comes out. But anyway, Thor, I'm going to give out a 10. I'm going to give it a 5. I think it's like bang middle of the road, kind of near film, you know. There's a lot of good elements to it, and there's a lot of bad. There's a lot of areas in which they can improve. And with the Thor films, we do eventually get there. We do eventually get a really, really good Thor movie. We get there, folks. We will. But anyway, I hope you guys have enjoyed this video. As always, don't forget to hit that subscribe button, like the video, leave a message. And as always, I'll see you next time for another video. Bye-bye.